Hello, and welcome to The News!
Today we will be talking about
Overpopulation!
Do you know why overpopulation is a problem?
Why?
Do you want to know why?
No, yes I do.
Well, it's a problem because humans reproduce way too fast. We have no natural predators, and people have too much...
What about lions? And great white sharks? And T-Rexes?
Those don't exist!
Yes they do!
Not anymore!
There are fossils. Creationist.
And people live too long because of medicine.
Yes, there's also an increased birth rate and a decreased death rate.
Why are humans involved in overpopulation? Well, we are the problem!
Yeah, there's nothing that's killing us except for great white sharks, T-Rexes, and lions.
But one of those does not exist, because it's
Creationist.
extinct.
Oh, okay. So, is this problem only impacting humans?
Well, no, because we impact the whole environment because we build stuff, because we're overpopulated, we kill stuff so we can get food to feed everybody, even though people are still hungry in Africa.
Oh my god.
And Europe and Asia and North America and South America.
Welcome back. Would you like to know where overpopulation is affecting people?
I would.
Everywhere!
What else?
Well, you see, it doesn't only affect humans. It affects all forms of life on Earth, because we're ruining it.
How are we ruining it?
Because humans are causing all kinds of issues like overpopulation.
Is it because we build buildings, kill habitats, and kill animals that cause them to become endangered and then extinct?
Yes, we're also causing global warming.
We need to fix this!
Yes, we do.
Do you know where overpopulation is affecting people?
Everywhere?
Yes.
I thought so. Even you.
How is humans impacting this problem?
Oh, well, we're causing the problem.
Well, we are causing the problem. We are causing the problem by hunting other animals into extinction.
Pollution.
So we can feed ourselves. Pollution, yes.
Destroying habitats.
Taking over habitats.
Causing giant...
Oil spills. Overpopulation.
Yes!
It is a problem.
It
It's
is.
caused by humans and happens everywhere.
Yes.
Overpopulation. It is bad. We
We're
must
causing
fix
it.
Yes.
We are causing it. We're destroying habitats. We're polluting the environment. It's terrible. We're awful people.
We're killing
Repent.
species. If you would like to know, the first time overpopulation was really noticed and thought as an actual problem was around the 1960s.
But it might have been the 1970s too. We're not really that sure.
It's not completely known, but it was sometime during that 10-year period. It is extremely important to this world. It is, because if we continue overpopulating, then we will exhaust all the resources that we have, forcing us to kill each other.
Are you sure?
Most likely.
Oh my god, that's terrible.
It'll
What about
just basically
relocation?
become a giant Hunger Games.
What about relocation? Trademark. What about relocation?
That is highly unlikely unless we go to the moon, which will not hold nearly enough people.
What about underwater?
Technology is not yet far enough advanced.
Alright.
And with
Killing each other sounds like the only available option.
And with the amount of resources we are using each year, we will eventually run out.
Do we have an estimated time?
No. As the number of people grow, the time will become shorter and shorter unless we manage to switch off of natural resources and use renewable resources like energy, sunlight, wind, hydroelectric, biochemical, nuclear power.
I'm in.
Anything that will help us.
Geothermal.
Anything that will help us
I'm in.
not use
I'm in.
natural resources.
How does
Overpopulation.
this issue impact you?
Overpopulation impacts me by overcrowding schools, denying us an education that will help us further our lives because we have too many people the teachers cannot teach as well as they should be able to.
Sounds terrible. What are people doing to fight the problem?
Well, some people have started education of people. Others have tried to have courses that provides people with the needs, with the knowledge to have safe sex until they're ready to have kids. Also, some countries such as China have started laws that are one child. Like, you are only allowed to have one child unless the Chinese government permits you to have more than one.
I'm a second child, so it doesn't sound so good to me. But if it's best for the country, then I guess I'll have to die.
Laws could also be expanded to say that no more than 2 kids per family.
Oh, that sounds better.
For I am also a second child.
Welcome back to the news! Now we've got some very important experts like me and Mr.
Gordon Freeman.
Okay, so we will be talking about seeing a time, very, very soon, my friends, when we will be all dieting. That means no food! 50 years ago, my friends, 1 billion people were undernourished or starving. Many in here also, including some of our co-anchors. Yes, it was about the same today. That's actually progress, since 1 billion represented 1/3 of the human race, and then only 1/6 now. Isn't that wonderful news? What do you say, my friend?
Well, I would say that is great news, but the fact remains.
Yes. Starving is never good, even if it's only reduced to 1/6. Well, today we also have another worry. Roughly the same number of people eat too much. Yeah, I'm Americans. So, we've got 1 billion are undernourished, 1 billion are overnourished, and then 5 billion are about in the middle. Yes, that's horrible news. But Julia Cribb, a veteran science journalist from Australia, the era of cheap, abundant food is over, my friends. That means no more McDonald's and God knows what else. Like many other experts, he argues that we have passed the peak of oil production and it is all downhill from now. Okay, so as we were talking before, we were talking about the decline of resources. With the rising of the temperatures and the rising of the sea and the warming of the sea, many fish will die off. This will be a major loss of protein that we will have to accommodate with more meat production, like cows and pigs. But also because of the rise of temperature, many of our crops will dwindle and rot. This, my friends, will be a hard time for you food lovers. Prices will probably skyrocket and supermarkets will be empty. So now let's move on to a bit more climate change. As we know, climate change really does affect the food a lot. We got decrease of the crops, we've got less fish, and also it may also affect how animals react. Crabs and other animals may go lower in the sea where it will be harder to catch them. All in all, if we don't lower our CO2 emissions and all the bad things we're doing to the environment, it may be a very horrible time. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Santiago. And now, for something completely different. Overpopulation has a brief history when the United Conference in Cairo is a reminder that concern about human population increase is of a comparatively recent origin. Only in the 18th century did intellectuals, the most famous being Thomas Malthus, begin raising the prospect of people one day outstripping Earth's measure. But for most of history, mankind has been more concerned with increasing its numbers. War, plagues, and high infant mortality ensured that populations grew slowly, despite high birth rates. Some researchers estimate that during the 750 years preceding the Industrial Revolution, the world's population hardly budged. According to George Moffat, the author of Critical Masses, The Global Population Challenge, the world's population remained under 250 million throughout most of history.
That's excellent. I wish it would be like this now.
Don't ask for your opinion. The idea that mankind would outgrow its resources originated with the Sciocrats, a French-led intellectual movement in the 18th century that
Go
maintained
French!
the wealth was defined by the land. Since the amount of land is finite, the Sciocrats argued it would not be possible to support an endlessly increasing number of people. Back to ancient Egyptian times, knew a thing or two about preventing unwanted babies. Pregnancy was historically as inevitable as the weather for most women. Queen Victoria lamented that men never think, or at least seldom think. What a hard task it is for us women to go through childbirth very often. The word birth control entered the language in 1914 with the American reformer Margaret Sanger. Effective contraception for the masses has been around only since the 1960s, with the development of the pill and the intrauterine devices. Barrier methods such as the condom have been around much longer, but were seen primarily as a means of preventing disease, not pregnancy. Casanova in the 18th century was one of the first to boast that he used assurance caps to prevent impregnating his mistresses. The development of all artificial contraception brought with it oft-repeated condemnations from the Roman Catholic Church, which teaches that every sexual act must remain open to life. St. Augustine set the tone in his Marriage and Concupiscence, in which he condemned any attempt to avoid procreation. But by the spirit of the age, St. Augustine was expressing a lusty and liberal view against the Gnostic preaching that all sex was evil, even within marriage. His views were taken largely from Roman Stoic teaching that procreation was the rational aim of marriage. Now, thank you for your time.
And with that,
Thanks
we
for
conclude
watching
our
the news.